My name is John Emmanuel, and I work for the Youth Offending Team. I'm a Youth Offending Team Practitioner with a specialty in bail supervision and support. Youth Offending Teams are a service that work with young people in the criminal justice system, and a Youth Offending Team Practitioner is responsible for the assessment and management of risk of those young people, both in custody and in the community. The focus of our work is in assessment of risk of those young people, and we assess risk in three very specific domains, and that is their risk of reoffending, their risk of serious harm to the public, and the risk with regard to their own safety and well-being. Fortunately for me, or unfortunately as some people look at it, my working day is not average in the context of other practitioners because of my specialty in bail supervision and support. So basically what that means, my workday starts at about 7 o'clock in the morning, and I have to phone the custody suites at the police stations in East Sussex, which are Hastings and Eastbourne. And I need to get information on whether or not there are any young people in custody, specifically whether there are any young people who've been held overnight to be produced at the court the following day, or the day that I'm calling in the morning. So my day is going to be largely dependent on whether or not there is. If there is a young person held for court, then I need to make my way over to court to deal with that young person and assist the court with what they do with that young person, especially if they're considering remanding the person in custody. But if there are no young people in custody, then my day is split up between seeing young people on my caseload, writing reports. Sometimes I have to go to court for pre-arranged court settings that were already arranged previously. So it's quite diverse, and I could be in any one of a number of locations during the day. At school, my favorite subjects were PE, because I was an avid sports person. I played a lot of sports and I really enjoyed PE. And motor mechanics. I was really loved motor mechanics, but I think that may largely be due to having a good relationship with the motor mechanics teacher. When I left school at 16 years old, and I joined the army. And I joined the army to be a motor mechanic. We went to an army apprentice college, and you did a 2-year city and guilds in motor vehicle engineering. And you got your qualification, and then you had to sign on for a minimum of 3 years service after that. So I went to the army apprentice college and studied motor mechanics and passed my city and guilds, and then did 3 years as an army mechanic. But I guess the one really salient fact that I learned from my 5 years of experience was that I was a rubbish mechanic. I was just never going to be any good at it. But then I came out of the army and obviously didn't want to pursue that as a career, and I got into security. And I spent most of my adult life working in the security industry. And then until I felt that I was getting maybe a little bit too old for that. And so I went back to university to study, to find something else I could do. So I did a degree in youth justice and was able to slowly get work in youth offending teams and be where I am today. I was very lucky in the sense that as I got into it, there were many people who I came across who helped me on my way. Definitely. I think when I first started working in a youth offending team, I had a very supportive manager, and I worked in a very high performing youth offending team, and I learned the sort of, the basics of the trade in that. And it was really just a case of once I tried that, I found I really enjoyed it, and I really had an affinity for it. And it kind of grew the more and more I sort of got deeper into understanding the practice of it and the academic side. So there was no single person, but definitely along the way, I've had some tremendous support from different people in different areas. I guess the top tip I would give to anybody getting into any kind of work is know your why. Have a real understanding of why you want to pursue a certain path or a certain role. Youth justice is a highly rewarding field to work in, and I think it's just an absolute privilege to have the opportunity to impact the lives of young people in a very direct way like that. I think because I don't really see it as a job, it's not really what I do so much as who I am. That opportunity to help and guide and direct and support young people, I think is just an absolute privilege to be entrusted with. And I'm grateful more than anything else for the opportunity to do this. And if that's your passion and if that's what you feel you've got a calling for, then by all means go for it in every sense of the word. But definitely your starting point is understand why. With any career you pursue, you know, what is your why? Why are you wanting to pursue this? And then build it from that.